Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are taking a whirlwind tour through a country that's a total powerhouse of ancient history, modern industry, and a culture that, let's be honest, the whole world has fallen in love with. So let's get right into it and explain Mexico.
So, when I say Mexico, what pops into your head? I bet a few really strong images come to mind, right? But what's the real story behind this North American giant? We're going to go way beyond the postcards to get to the heart of what makes Mexico tick.
And yeah, of course, we're talking about the land of incredible ancient pyramids, of tacos that have basically taken over the planet, that unmistakable sound of mariachi music, and, those picture-perfect beaches. And look, all of that is absolutely true, but trust me, it's really just scratching the surface.
To really understand the full picture, we've got to start with the basics. Where exactly in the world are we talking about?
It's right here, taking up this huge southern slice of the North American continent. Think of it as this vital land bridge connecting the United States up north with all of Central America to the south.
And that location is so important. You've got the U.S. to the north, Guatemala and Belize to the south, the massive Pacific Ocean to the west, and then the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea to the east. I mean, these borders have shaped everything: its history, its culture, its entire economy.
Okay, so now let's talk about what's inside those borders, because Mexico's geography is just a story of wild contrasts. It is, no joke, a land of extremes.
I mean, just look at this. Up north, it's all about these huge, dry deserts. But then, as you go south, the whole landscape just flips into these incredibly green, lush, tropical rainforests. It's like visiting two totally different countries without ever crossing a border, which helps make Mexico one of the most biodiverse places on Earth.
And holding it all together are these two massive mountain ranges, the Sierra Madre Occidental and the Oriental, that basically run down the country like a giant spine. And of course, there's the famous Rio Grande, its longest river, which forms a huge chunk of that border with the United States.
And when we talk about extremes, we really mean it. Check this out. That's the height of Pico de Orizaba, Mexico's highest peak. At over 5,600 meters, this massive dormant volcano is actually taller than any mountain you'll find in the lower 48 states in the U.S.
But a country is so much more than just mountains and rivers. So let's dive into its soul, the real heartbeat of its culture.
We're going to look at four huge pillars that make Mexican culture so powerful and so influential: its ancient roots, its unbelievable food, its amazing celebrations, and of course, that iconic music.
First up, you have to start with the foundation. The legacy of these incredible ancient civilizations, especially the Aztec and the Maya, is just everywhere. You can see their fingerprints in the art, in the architecture, and you can hear it in the dozens of indigenous languages that are still spoken today. And come on, how can we talk about Mexico without talking about the food? It is so much more than just tacos and guacamole. We're talking about a food tradition so rich, so important that UNESCO actually called it an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. How cool is that?
That unique blend of ancient and, more modern European culture is perfectly captured in festivals like Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. This isn't some sad, gloomy event. It's an explosion of color and life, all to celebrate and honor family members who've passed on. It's just a beautiful way to think about memory and love.
And what's the soundtrack to all of this? Well, it's gotta be mariachi, right? That iconic sound, the trumpets, the violins, the guitars, the performers in their amazing charro suits. It's recognized all over the world as the sound of Mexico.
Okay, so let's shift gears from ancient traditions right into the 21st century. Let's take a look at what's powering the modern nation's economy. So the Mexican economy today is not a one-trick pony. It is incredibly diverse. As you can see here, manufacturing and the car industry are the real heavyweights, but you've also got huge sectors like oil, tourism, and agriculture that are all massive parts of its economic strength.
And that diversity really shows in what Mexico sends out to the rest of the world. Because of its location and big trade deals, it's become this absolutely critical hub in the global supply chain, exporting everything from cars and electronics to oil, silver, and fresh produce.
And the money that makes all of this go round? Well, that would be the nation's official currency, the Mexican peso.
So, with all this diversity, this huge country, how is it all organized? Let's look at the political structure, how the nation is actually defined.
All right, first, a little fun fact for you. The country's official name isn't just Mexico, it's actually the United Mexican States, and that name gives us a huge clue about how it's all put together.
Yeah, that name points directly to its system of government. It's a federal republic. So, a lot like its neighbor to the north, power is divided between a main national government that's led by a president, and then all the individual states, which have their own local governments.
And just how big is this republic? Well, the United Mexican States is made up of 32 different federal entities. That breaks down to 31 states, plus the capital, Mexico City, which actually acts as its own separate thing.
So there you have it. From the ruins of ancient empires to the assembly lines of modern factories, from bone-dry deserts to soaking wet rainforests, Mexico is a nation that is truly defined by its powerful contrasts. It's a place where the past feels alive and the future is being built every single day. So the only question left is, what part of this incredible world are you going to explore next?